Good morning, everyone. Today, I want to talk about one of the simplest yet most powerful messages we often forget. Be yourself. In a world that constantly tries to shape us into something we're not, staying true to who we are becomes a courageous act. Every day, we see images of success, beauty, and perfection that make us question our worth. But remember, the most beautiful thing you can ever be is your authentic self. Being authentic means having the courage to show the world who you truly are without fear or hesitation. It's about dropping the mask that society often expects us to wear and embracing the raw, real version of ourselves. In a time where people are constantly influenced by trends, social media, and others' opinions, authenticity becomes a rare yet powerful quality. It takes strength to go against the current, to say, "This is who I am," and to mean it. When you choose to live truthfully, you not only free yourself from the burden of pretending, but you also inspire others to do the same. Authenticity does not mean being perfect. It means being honest about your emotions, your struggles, and your growth. People connect more deeply with sincerity than with perfection. When you allow yourself to be seen as you are, with both your strengths and your flaws, you become more relatable and human. This honesty invites trust and respect, and it builds stronger relationships with those around you. Being authentic allows you to live with integrity, aligning your actions with your values rather than what others expect from you. There's also an inner peace that comes from being authentic. You stop fighting an internal battle between who you are and who you think you should be. You no longer waste energy trying to fit into molds that were never meant for you. Instead, you channel that energy into living purposefully, expressing yourself creatively, and chasing dreams that truly resonate with your heart. When you act out of authenticity, your confidence grows naturally, not because you're perfect, but because you're real. Lastly, authenticity gives you a voice that carries weight. People are drawn to those who stand firmly in their truths, even when it's uncomfortable. When you are authentic, your words and actions align, and that alignment builds credibility. The world needs more people who are brave enough to live authentically, to speak honestly, act genuinely, and lead with their true selves. Because being authentic is not a weakness. It is one of the greatest strengths a person can ever possess. Every person on this planet carries a unique blend of thoughts, talents, and experiences that no one else can replicate. From the way you think to the way you express yourself, there's something about you that sets you apart from everyone else. Your uniqueness is your personal fingerprint on the world, a mark that cannot be erased or imitated. Yet, many people spend their lives trying to blend in, to look or act like others, believing that conformity is the key to acceptance. In truth, it's your individuality that makes you irreplaceable. The world doesn't need another copy of someone else. It needs the original version of you. Your creativity, your voice, your perspective. Your uniqueness also lies in your journey. Every decision you've made, every hardship you've faced, and every triumph you've celebrated have shaped you into who you are today. Even your mistakes and failures are part of what makes you special, because they've taught you lessons that no one else has learned in quite the same way. When you recognize that your story holds value, you stop diminishing your experiences just because they differ from someone else's. You begin to understand that your background, your struggles, and your dreams contribute to your one-of-a-kind identity, something that can inspire others in ways you might not even realize. The beauty of being unique is that it allows you to bring something new to every space you enter. Whether it's your ideas, your humor, or your energy, no one else can contribute exactly what you do. That's why it's so important to stop comparing yourself to others. Comparison makes you forget your own gifts and blinds you to your potential. When you start celebrating your differences instead of hiding them, you begin to shine in your own light. Your uniqueness becomes your strength, not something to be fixed or changed, but something to be cherished and nurtured. When you fully embrace your individuality, you start living with authenticity and confidence. You no longer feel the need to compete with others because you recognize that no one else can walk your path. You become more comfortable expressing yourself, sharing your thoughts, and pursuing goals that truly align with your heart. Your uniqueness becomes your guide, helping you make decisions that reflect who you really are. It's in those moments of self-acceptance and self-expression that you realize the greatest gift you can give to the world is simply being you. Comparison is one of the biggest thieves of joy and confidence. When you constantly measure your life against someone else's, you lose sight of your own progress and worth. It's easy to look at others' achievements, appearances, or lifestyles and feel like you're falling behind. But what we often forget is that everyone's journey is different, shaped by their own timing, challenges, and opportunities. The moment you start comparing, you stop appreciating your own story. Life is not a race to see who gets ahead. It's a personal path where growth and happiness matter more than competition. Every individual has a different pace in life. Some people achieve success early, while others take years to discover their purpose, and both are perfectly okay. The timeline of your life is not meant to look like anyone else's. The struggles you're facing today might be preparing you for something extraordinary tomorrow. Instead of envying someone else's success, try learning from it and using it as motivation. Remember, just because someone else shines doesn't mean your light is any dimmer. The sun and the moon both shine, but at their own times. Comparison clouds your ability to see your own light and makes you forget how far you've already come. It's also important to understand that what we see of others is often just the highlight reel, not the full story. Social media, for instance, shows us polished versions of people's lives, smiles, achievements, and happy moments, but rarely the struggles, failures, and insecurities behind the scenes. When you compare your behind the scenes with someone else's best moments, you create a false sense of inadequacy. Everyone has their battles, their doubts, and their imperfections. So instead of comparing, focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Compete with who you were yesterday, not with who someone else is today. When you stop comparing, you open yourself to genuine growth and peace. You begin to celebrate your own victories, no matter how small they may seem. You learn to appreciate your unique timeline and find fulfillment in your own progress. Life becomes more meaningful when you focus on self-improvement rather than self-judgment. Every person is walking their own path, and your only true competition is the person you see in the mirror. Once you stop measuring your worth through comparison, you'll find freedom. The freedom to grow, to thrive, and to be unapologetically yourself. True confidence begins the moment you decide to accept yourself just as you are, without conditions, without judgment, and without trying to be someone else. Self-acceptance is not about ignoring your flaws. It's about acknowledging them while recognizing your worth beyond imperfections. Many people chase confidence by seeking validation from others, thinking approval will make them feel enough. But real confidence doesn't come from applause. It comes from within. It grows when you embrace your strengths, forgive your weaknesses, and understand that your value doesn't depend on anyone's opinion. When you fully accept yourself, you walk with a quiet strength that cannot be shaken by criticism or rejection. Accepting yourself means letting go of the unrealistic standards that the world imposes. Society often tells us who we should be, how we should look, act, or succeed. These expectations can make us feel inadequate and disconnected from our true selves. But the truth is, you don't need to change to be worthy of love, respect, or happiness. You already are enough, exactly as you are. When you stop fighting against yourself and start embracing your individuality, you create space for growth and peace. Self-acceptance doesn't mean settling, it means understanding that you are a work in progress, learning, evolving, and becoming better every day. Confidence built on self-acceptance is unshakable because it isn't dependent on comparison or perfection. When you know who you are and what you stand for, you no longer need external validation to feel secure. You stop trying to please everyone and instead focus on staying true to yourself. You become comfortable in your own skin, and that authenticity naturally draws respect from others. Confidence rooted in self-acceptance radiates from within. It's calm, consistent, and deeply empowering. It allows you to take risks, face challenges, and express yourself freely because you trust your own worth. Moreover, self-acceptance helps you develop compassion, not only for yourself, but for others as well. When you understand your own struggles and insecurities, you become more empathetic toward those around you. You stop judging yourself harshly, and that kindness extends outward. This shift in perspective changes the way you interact with the world. Instead of competing or comparing, you begin to connect and uplift. You realize that everyone is on their own journey of self-discovery, just like you. And with that understanding, your confidence becomes not just a personal strength, but a force that inspires others to accept and believe in themselves. 2. Originality is the art of being true to your own thoughts, ideas, and expressions, even when they differ from everyone else's. It's the courage to stand alone in your truth rather than blend in for comfort. In a world where imitation is common and conformity feels safe, originality becomes a powerful act of self-expression. It means trusting your own vision, believing that your perspective has value, and daring to share it with confidence. Original thinkers are often misunderstood at first because they challenge norms and introduce new ways of seeing things. Yet, it is these very people who spark change, inspire others, and move the world forward. Every great artist, inventor, and leader who has left a mark on history did so by daring to be different. When you embrace originality, you stop chasing approval and start focusing on authenticity. You begin to realize that your voice matters even if it doesn't echo the loudest. The world doesn't need replicas. It needs creators who think differently and bring fresh ideas to life. Being original means accepting that not everyone will understand or appreciate your uniqueness. And that's okay. What truly matters is that you remain honest to your beliefs, values, and creative instincts. People may try to mold you into something more familiar, but the greatest satisfaction comes from knowing you stay true to yourself. Originality is not about being better than others. It's about being yourself without apology. There's also a deep sense of empowerment that comes with originality. When you express your authentic self, you discover your own voice and purpose. You no longer rely on imitation for guidance. Instead, you let your creativity and intuition lead the way. This freedom allows you to explore new possibilities and ideas that might have seemed unreachable before. Originality opens doors, not just to success, but to self-discovery. It helps you uncover your hidden strengths, passions, and potential. Every time you choose to think independently, you build confidence in your ability to shape your own path, rather than follow someone else's. Most importantly, originality inspires others to do the same. When people see you living authentically and fearlessly, they feel encouraged to embrace their own uniqueness too. Your originality becomes a ripple effect, one that spreads courage, creativity, and self-belief. By choosing to be original, you give others permission to break free from imitation and embrace their true selves. The power of originality lies not only in creating something new, but in reminding the world that being different is not a weakness, it's a gift. Each person's originality adds richness and diversity to life, making the world a brighter, more vibrant place to be. The fear of judgment is one of the biggest barriers between who we are and who we could become. Many people silence their voices, hide their dreams, and hold back their potential simply because they worry about what others will think. This fear starts small, a hesitation to speak up, a second guess before taking a risk. But over time it can grow into a heavy weight that limits our freedom and creativity. The truth is, no matter what you do, people will always have opinions. Some will support you, others may criticize you, but none of their opinions can define your worth. When you live your life trying to please everyone, you end up pleasing no one, especially not yourself. Judgment is often more about the person giving it than the one receiving it. People project their insecurities, fears, and biases onto others because it's easier to criticize than to understand. Once you realize this, you begin to take things less personally. You learn that judgment is inevitable, but your reaction to it is a choice. You can either let it discourage you or let it strengthen your resolve. The moment you stop letting others' opinions dictate your actions, you reclaim control over your life. Freedom comes when you stop seeking validation and start valuing your own perspective. Overcoming the fear of judgment also means learning to trust yourself. You must believe that your thoughts, feelings, and decisions are valid, even if others disagree. This kind of inner trust doesn't come overnight. It's built through small acts of courage every day. Each time you speak your truth, make a bold choice, or stand by your values despite criticism, you strengthen your confidence. Eventually, you realize that what people think about you matters far less than how you feel about yourself. The opinions of others fade quickly, but your own self-respect lasts a lifetime. When you live authentically, judgment loses its power over you because you're no longer seeking external approval. The irony is that the very people we fear judgment from are often too busy worrying about being judged themselves. Everyone carries their own insecurities, and recognizing this helps you move beyond fear. Once you stop trying to fit into others' expectations, you begin to see how much energy you've been wasting trying to be accepted. That same energy can be redirected toward growth, creativity, and happiness. When you free yourself from the fear of judgment, you open the door to genuine self-expression and opportunity. You begin to live boldly, speak honestly, and act without hesitation. Because the only opinion that truly matters is your own. Staying true to your path means following the journey that aligns with your values, dreams, and purpose, even when the world tries to steer you elsewhere. In life, you'll encounter countless opinions about who you should be and what you should do. Some will come from family, some from friends, and others from society's expectations. While advice can be helpful, it should never drown out your inner voice. Your path is uniquely yours, shaped by your passions, your struggles, and your growth. When you choose to follow what feels right in your heart, you create a life that's meaningful and authentic, not just successful on the surface. The key is to trust your instincts, even when the road ahead seems uncertain or unconventional. It's natural to doubt yourself at times, especially when your journey looks different from everyone else's. You might see others moving faster or achieving things you haven't yet reached, and it can make you question your direction. But remember, every person has a different pace and purpose. Comparing your timeline to someone else's only distracts you from your own growth. Staying true to your path means being patient with your progress and believing that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Sometimes detours and delays are not signs of failure, but lessons preparing you for what's next. The more you trust your journey, the more peace you will find along the way. When you stay true to your path, you begin to build resilience. The world can be loud, filled with distractions and temptations that pull you away from your purpose. You'll face criticism, rejection, and moments of uncertainty, but those are tests of strength, not reasons to give up. Staying committed to your vision, even when it's hard, is what sets you apart. It's in those challenging moments that you grow the most. Every step, no matter how small, takes you closer to the life you're meant to live. Staying true doesn't mean never changing. It means evolving while staying aligned with your core values and beliefs. Most importantly, when you honor your own path, you inspire others to do the same. People notice when someone lives with purpose and integrity. They see the confidence, peace, and fulfillment that comes from following your truth instead of chasing approval. By staying true to yourself, you show others that success is not about fitting in. It's about standing firm in who you are and where you're headed. Namone. Your journey might not always be easy or glamorous, but It will always be real. And that authenticity is what gives your path meaning, depth, and strength. In the end, being yourself is not just a message. It's a lifelong practice. It means accepting your imperfections, celebrating your individuality, and walking with confidence, even when the world doesn't understand you. When you choose authenticity over approval, you create a life that feels real, purposeful, and free. Remember, no one else can live your story, think your thoughts, or dream your dreams the way you can. So stop hiding behind expectations and start embracing who you are. The world doesn't need another version of someone else. It needs you, exactly as you are, with your heart, your courage, and your truth.